Now take this opportunity to introduce Professor Abhishek Prabhakar Nimbekar, sir. He's working as an assistant professor at D.Y. Patil University at Talegaon in Pune again. His educational qualification consists of Masters in Structural Engineering from Amravati University, pursuing PhD from D.Y. Patil University, Pune, having teaching experience in SPPU 8 years and specialized in entrepreneurship development, startup and venture management, research in international quality content development. Good afternoon and warm welcome. As Dr. Professor Chetan More said, in this lovely weather, morning, afternoon also feels like pleasant morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for the warm welcome. And always delightful to have a session with the Global Research Conference. And I'm also thankful to you and as well as Dr. Divakaran, sir, for giving me this opportunity. So today the topic is the sustainability and the sustainable development. So I would like to have a small discussion, or what we can say an overview about the environmental aspects of the sustainable development. Rather than talking the theory, I would like to have some practical overview that what issues currently we are facing and what should be the remedies for this. So what is the sustainable development? I know that everyone has spoken on this, but the sustainable development is the thing which should last, right? For which purpose it has been made, for which duration it has been made, that should last up to its life, and the serviceability should be proper. Whatever we have designed, it should deliver the serviceability as per its requirement and norms. Okay, so on global level, many of the organizations are working for this. Even the UN nations are various having the summits on this, and they have set up various goals. Previously, in 2012, they are having certain meetings, certain summits, and they have decided the goals on a global level from 2015 to 2030. For 15 years, they have set up certain goals, and they have set certain norms for the various nations. India is also one of the part of that. So India has also planned certain goals for its states, and we are following certain norms given by our central government as well as the state government. Okay, we are also having our environmental ministry, who is working as a main authority behind this, giving all the permissions regarding the various industries and controlling the pollution norms and all these things. So environmental impact and its causes is the main concern nowadays days. Okay, so the first thing I would like to focus is the pollution that we are facing, pollution issue that we are facing today. Then the next issue is global warming. Third issue is the water crisis, groundwater level depreciation, then higher use of the plastics, then heavy rains and storms. Now, what is the relation between heavy rains and storms with the all these means man-made things? One can say that this is a natural thing. Heavy rains and storms is a natural thing, but there is a relation. When the global warming is there, as we know that the global warming is rising day by day, it melts the ice on the north and south pole. It creates the higher water levels into the oceans. Higher level water into the oceans will lead to the higher cloud formation, right? Because of the evaporation. And your global warming acts there also. Okay. After having the higher clouds, it will result into the higher rains. And that's what we are experiencing since last 3 to 4 years. Since after 2016, we have noticed that a higher rainfalls in the western Maharashtra, in the western parts of India, which have resulted into the higher floods, which never before 100 years, 200 years before. So there were many articles published in newspapers also regarding this, that why this environmental change has been occurred, right? So if you go into the deep, then you will find that global warming is the main cause behind this, right? And what are the various causes for global warming? We all know these things, right? So that's why. Then the next issue is about the deforestation, right? Many dignitaries have pointed about the paperless works. So that is the main concern, that we are using papers everywhere, but nowadays the digitalization is going on, and we are moving towards the digitalization, and we are reducing the paperwork. So that is a good thing. But the forestation has to be increased, right? One should plant the what you can say, various trees in his lands, and increase the oxygen levels. So that is the primary remedy what individuals can do. And on government level, the government is doing their things, but the awareness to the community is important, right? Once the community gets awareness, then the things can happen on a mass level, and a greater impact can be observed. Now, another issue that currently every country, or what we can say a few means most of the countries are facing, is the population explosion, right? So currently India is at the second number, having the 140 million of population. China is at the number one. But if we observe this thing, China is having the 3 times more land area than the India, similar to the US, right? So the next nation is the US, that is the United States of America. But again, US is also having the 3 times more land area than India, right? So as per the density, we are at the number one, and soon we will cross the number one in all aspects. We will be number one, and China will be at number two, and number three will be the US. So in next 5 to 10 years, this is going to happen definitely. We all know this thing. So therefore, one family must have a one child in India. So this is the need nowadays, right? Few decades ago, we were having the 3 childs in one family. Now, the last decade, government has planned 2 childs for one family. But at this current scenario in India, we must have one child for one family. This is my opinion. Everyone can have his opinion, but this is the current requirement, right? Because I am speaking is thoroughly practical, right? Now, after that, what are the effects and impacts of the excessive population? It has impact on the environment, right? First thing on is a social impact, and that is the employment scarcity, right? Then the second thing, we are having the employment, but in terms of the contracts, we are not having regular government jobs. Most of the government jobs have been replaced by the small contracts for 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year, and that's why we are facing these employment issues in India also, right? But in certain countries where the population is very less, at there we are not facing this issue, right? So this is a major difference that we can observe. Okay. Now after that, in India, the 60%, 50% population is living standard is below. So the poor living standards is also the main outcome of this higher population. Next one is the higher traffics, and many people are not following the traffic norms and all these things. But the higher traffics lead to the higher pollution, right? More people are buying the more 2 wheelers and 4 wheelers, and they are traveling more number of times, and therefore the accidents also occur more, and government has a lot of burden to create the infrastructure, higher infrastructure for a large amount of population. Now after that, what one can do for this, what government is doing for this, there is a requirement of the community awareness. So the community awareness can be occurred on the global level, as well as on the local level, on the country level, on the states level. So UN nations working for this, United Nations working for this, they are having various summits. They have set up certain goals. That goals also has been discussed a lot. So as a common man, we can have an overlook of this, right? So for our childs, whatever the primary education that we provide to our child, right? What happens that our child goes to the primary school, but I think that this education should be provided by the parents itself. Why our child should go to the primary school? The parents are so much educated. Some parents are doctorate. So can't they teach their child the primary education? That what are the various norms regarding the government related to these environmental issues and all these things. So the child will learn from his childhood that we should not do this wastage of things and we should be energy saving, right? Not to waste the energy, not to use the plastic much, not to use the vehicle for a smaller distances, right? So these things should be start from the home, right? So it will have a greater impact on the higher level, national level, and on global level. So what more efforts are needed? More efforts are needed by the government authorities for the planning, by the planning authorities, by the town planning departments, that the slum are formed because of the irregular plannings of the land. Nowadays, we are having the unified laws for the town planning coming in various states. Maharashtra has proposed the unified laws in the year 2020, 2 years before. Many states are coming forward. So the town planning authority is working on their level, and various other departments, environmental ministry, then traffic regulation departments are also working. Our honorable minister of the road transport, that is Nitin Gadkari, also working for the biofuel. So one should also look for the solar energy. We are having our various solar equipments. Government is providing concessions to use the solar equipments, and the forest departments are also working not to cut the trees, and for the metros and all these things, the various issues has been created. But government is having a positive look for the not to cut the trees and prevent the forest. So this is about the government level, but on individual level, what we can do? We can have our waste management for individual houses. We can have the rainwater harvesting plants installed for individual homes to maintain the groundwater levels. We can decide that we have to use the less energy. We can build energy efficient homes, energy efficient houses. We can use the bicycles for a smaller distance to save the fuels. And most important thing is the development of local employment. If the local employment is developed in the rural areas, then people should not go to the cities, and the cities will be prevented from the slums and all these saturations. So creation of the local employment is very much important as far as our country is concerned. Local employment, rural employment is very much necessary nowadays, and thus we can contribute to the government. We can also spread the awareness. Conducting this type of conferences is also spreading the awareness on this sustainable development. After that, one more thing we can plan is the low cost housing for all. Today we have observed that many people are living on a rent in many cities and even middle towns also. Why every person does not have his own house in India, his own home in India? Many people are not having their houses built. That is because the construction costs are very much high. Land cost is very much high. But we all can work towards the low cost housing, and this will reduce to the slums in India. After that, the last topic I would like to discuss about the environment is our own health. That is the sustainable health. We have seen the sustainable development, but I would like to speak on the sustainable health. That how we can survive longer, how we can live longer. So we can have our own work-life balance maintained. Then after that, we can have a healthy veg and food. We can promote this thing so that this also having environmental impact. Okay, many research papers have been published on this issue. So I will suggest the healthy veg and food. After that, you should increase your immunity. Health immunity is important, right? You should have a healthy food to maintain your immunity, because in COVID times, we are also COVID time, then Delta time, Delta plus, and then Omicron nowadays. So all these variants are coming, and only one thing is being suggested by the WHO, that maintain your own immunity, right? So therefore, a sustainable health is also important. And this was just a discussion over the sustainable development and the social issues and the environmental aspects of the sustainable development. So I'm thankful that you have provided me this opportunity to share my views among all of you. And I'm also thankful to Dr. Divakaran sir. So special thanks to all organizers. And I would like to hand over to respected organizers. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Abhishek sir. You are coming on time and deliver the lecture. And Manana
Yes,
sir,
yes.
you want to add any questions or something like that, you can ask now.
As usual, no questions. All these eminent and very intelligent professors and doctors, they are definitely leading us or feeding us new thoughts and ideas and making us think more by each passing day, I would say. And especially Professor Abhishek Nimbekar sir, I think you have also come up with a very nice thing I like about strategies and what all the remedies could be, and for the various issues you have highlighted, and as well as remedies. And individual has to really seriously think from his own her own perspective. Nobody can make anything out of anybody until they themselves, it said the patient can only recover until and unless he or she is willing to. You can give them umpteen number of medicines, but until and unless the patient is willing to recover, he has the desire to fight his disease out, nobody can help him or her. That's what you focused on. That in it was similarly Dr. Professor Chetan Moresar's discussion is all about, and that's what I witness in every walk of my life. We have to kind of stimulate individual. We have to stimulate their boneless brain, as Dr. Chetan Moresar said. Um, we can only hope for the best, I would say. We can always lay out strategies, but with this gigantic population, and as you said, as per the density, it is really a big burden on the government and a real concern. And we can only keep doing a bit from each individual and progress and hope for a better tomorrow. Thank you very much, Abhishek Nimbekar sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.